Go to whirlwindgolf.com and join Whirlwind Plus. You get the lowest rate that day for any tee time that you choose. And now in the month of December, every member of your foursome can play at your rate if they join you Monday through Thursday and bring a non-perishable food item to donate to the food bank. Go to whirlwindgolf.com and feel the wind.
Thanks for listening, Unplugged Army. I'm Louis Unga, General Manager at Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass. We're proud to present Doug Franz Unplugged.
Form an offense.
Form an offense.
4 minutes.
Form an offense. Form an offense.
Everything you need to know in sports that affects Maricopa County, the state of Arizona, and the world, you get in 4 minutes. We start things off in Tempe, Arizona, and Tucson, Arizona. Arizona State and U of A both did okay in their recruiting. According to 24/7 Sports, ASU is ranked with the 7th best class in the Big 12. U of A comes in at number 9. Neither team scored a 5-star prospect, and U of A had 1 4-star. ASU had 2. The big news for ASU, they had a wide receiver and defensive lineman flip and go to TCU and Northwestern, but then they were able to flip 3 other people from previous commitments, including a safety from Northwestern, and then got the number 1 JUCO player in the country, an offensive lineman, and the number 3 JUCO player in the country, a defensive lineman. Best player, the number 4 ranked dual threat quarterback in the recruiting class, Jake Fetty from El Paso. 2 players from Arizona for ASU, an edge rusher from Mesa Westwood, and a safety from Peoria Liberty. U of A got 2 commits from Arizona, an offensive tackle from Williamsfield and Gilbert, and a D lineman from Compass Prep in Chandler. Their best player, just like ASU, is also a quarterback. They got Oscar Rios out of Downey, California. Head coach Brent Brennan was asked, what is it about a 4-8 team from 2024 that was able to recruit such a solid class?
I think recruits choose people, and I think we have incredible people in this building. Our coaching staff, our support staff, the alignment we have with the administration, the University of Arizona, I think those things are what people choose. They believe in being coached by Bobby Wade or by being coached by Danny Gonzalez or whoever it is, you know what I mean? So I think that part of it is what was the most compelling for these young people to choose the U of A.
Up next, neither team knows. They find out where they're going bowling on Sunday morning. Bad news for the Suns as they let out a press release that said Devin Booker will be reevaluated with a right groin strain coming up in a week, meaning he's bound to miss at least 3 games on this road trip at Houston, at Minnesota, at Oklahoma City. The last game is their quarterfinal matchup for the NBA Cup. Up next, travel to Houston today after practice, take on the Rockets tomorrow night. Head coach Jonathan Gannon and a lot of players met with the media today, including Jacoby Brissett, who is all in, focused on the Rams.
Oh, tough. Obviously one of the better teams in the NFL, offensively and defensively. Really good players, good scheme, good coaches. You know, division opponent, those are always the toughest, so we got our hands full, but we're excited for this opportunity and, going out there try to go get a win.
Up next, Cardinals take on the Rams Sunday afternoon in Glendale, 2:25. Strange hoops news. The Clippers landed in Atlanta last night, and then while the players were asleep, Chris Paul and the general manager Lawrence Frank had a 3-hour meeting, at which time Chris Paul was dismissed from the team. Clippers went on to crush Atlanta 115-92 thanks to Zubac's 14 points, 17 boards. Nuggets won at Indy behind Jamal Murray's 52 points. D. Fox had 31 in San Antonio's win at Orlando. Cat was amazing, 35 points, 18 boards in the Knicks' home win over Charlotte, and Milwaukee barely beat Detroit, but they did it without Giannis, who left the game with a right calf strain only 3 minutes into the contest. College football news, K-State head coach Chris Kleiman announced to his team that he's going to retire. The Wildcats are going to target former quarterback Colin Klein and take him from his Texas A&M offensive coordinator position. The big national recruiting story is James Franklin, who took the Virginia Tech job after getting fired from Penn State, was able to flip 11 Penn State recruits and have them come to Virginia Tech because Penn State still doesn't have a coach. And finally, so the FIFA World Cup draw is tomorrow. Tom Brady, Shaquille O'Neal, Kevin Hart, and Heidi Klum will all be part of the festivities. And we're also going to export to the world the Village People. What happens tomorrow is put all of the teams that are going to be involved in the World Cup in different pots. It's basically like pulling a name out of a hat. Pot 1 will have the 12 best teams. Pot 2 will have the next 12. Pot 3 will have the next 12. And Pot 4 will have the last 12. But since it's a big celebration, there's also musical guests. So the amazing Andrea Bocelli will be singing. And because Donald Trump loves YMCA, they decided to hire the Village People to come in. And now we get to export the YMCA to the rest of the world. So this is just great. We have our great chance to star in front of the world, and instead we want a bad wedding reception to break out.
Hey guys, it's No Name Henry. Just so you know, we're down here at Bell's, and while they're known for their chicken sandwich, I gotta let you know their burgers are the best in town. And also even though Doug makes fun of me, their sweet potato fries are delicious. You gotta get them, and great combo. Always, always great. Never disappointed.
Bell's Nashville Kitchen on Main Street in Old Town Scottsdale.
You found home, down home.
In all seriousness, if we took a poll of all Europeans and asked them what percentage of Americans, in your opinion, have ever spent the night at a YMCA, what do you think they'd say? 40%? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever it is that you've decided to make Doug Franz Unplugged a part of your day, my family greatly appreciates it. My name is Doug Franz, and UofA, the only podcast in the world totally devoted to the coverage of the 4 major sports franchises of one great American city that drops on your phone each and every weekday morning. We also cover ASU, UofA, GCU, the Rattlers, the Rising, and the Merc. This is Doug Franz Unplugged, presented by Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass. How are you? I'm in a great mood. I'm in one of those, hey, let's get fired up type of moods where we've got stuff to accomplish here. Let's go. I don't know what it was. I just felt great blessing. I walked out to the garage to grab a Mountain Dew from the garage fridge, and I looked at the car. My car's got 140,000 miles on, 160,000 miles on it, and it's still, running okay. My wife's car has about 130,000 on it. It's running okay. We've got a refrigerator that's got some A Mountain Amber Ale in it for tomorrow. Some cranberry can. Yeah, I prefer that weird jelly out of the cranberry sauce out of the can with the lines on it. Still got some of that left from Thanksgiving. 1 drumstick left. That's about it. 2 pieces of apple pie still left. Don't ask me how that's left. A little bit of green bean casserole left, I think. And I just started looking around, and I realized, you know what? Life's pretty good. Life's pretty good. And we've all got to think like that. I'm not saying lie to yourself if it's not, but we got to do a better job of finding the joy, of finding what's going right. All of us have things that are going wrong. All of us have things that are going right. What are you accentuating today? That's what it is. What are you accentuating today? I say the good. That's your job today. Accentuate the good. Let's go. Whatever's going on, we'll figure it out. The negative, we'll figure it out. We'll get through it. But the positive, that's what we're choosing today. We're not lying to ourselves. We're not hiding behind any realities. There's crap we got to take care of today. Maybe some of it you don't want to take care of. But you know what? Power through it. Earn your pillow tonight. And let's wake up to a Beer Friday tomorrow, all right? Let's wake up to a Beer Friday tomorrow. Have our A Mountain Amber Ale from 100 Mile Brewing, even though I'll be having one today. I'm going there for lunch today, meeting the nephew for lunch at 100 Mile Brewing. And we're getting an oil change from Santan Ford. How about that? All with the mobile units coming out to greet us. So we're all fired up and we're ready. So I'm looking forward to it. Going to try to get out to Suns practice this morning as well. They practice at 11:45. That's when it's open to the media before they fly out to Houston. So I'm going to try to get there. So we'll have some Suns stuff to talk about coming up tomorrow. And probably, I'm hoping to get a recruiting guest on this week or next week. Full disclosure,
I shouldn't say this. It's my job, but after I just want to accentuate the positive, I hate recruiting. I do. Like, I don't see these high school kids. I don't want to just regurgitate somebody else's opinion when I haven't seen them myself. And I don't know. It's just not me. It's not me at all. And then so many kids are poorly recruited. Some of them are head cases. Some of them are great kids that are overvalued. Some of them are great kids that are undervalued. It's so hard. Now, a lot of people say, well, so is the draft. Yes. But then it's my opinion because I'm seeing them play college basketball. I'm seeing them play college football. So I feel like I know what I'm looking at. And then it's easier for me to talk about. These kids, I don't know. So I hate that. However, it's my job to find somebody who does know. So I'll try to have somebody on either tomorrow or next week. Tomorrow might be a little busy because we'll have Guru Brad on getting ready for your Friday for your fantasy football league. But maybe we can do a double booking and have somebody on for that. And then next week, I'd also like to talk to somebody about the winter meetings. Baseball winter meetings start Sunday. And Sunday's kind of a lazy day, but they're hardcore Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. So maybe have somebody on Thursday to wrap up the week for us, something like that. So we've got a lot going on. We got a lot going on, and with recruiting in college football, wrapping up the NFL season, baseball winter meetings, and the Suns hopefully getting back to being hot, but they might be having no Jalen Green, no Jalen Green, no Devin Booker for this brutal stretch of games at Houston tomorrow. And who's the other one? Oh, gosh. I think it's at Houston, at New Orleans, which obviously isn't really, all that tough. And then I know it's at OKC is this stretch of games. But I'm dying to know who's the middle one, if you don't mind me quickly looking it up. Sorry that I'm wasting your time. I should have known off the top of my head because I just said it in 4-minute offense at Minnesota. Luckily, it's not a back-to-back. Tomorrow night at Houston, Monday at Minnesota, and then Wednesday at OKC. Then if they lose to OKC, they play the loser of Lakers Spurs. I hope it's the Spurs because you just had that game against the Lakers. There's no reason for us to see them that quickly again. You know what I mean? That's kind of the way I feel about it. Story time real quick. I met yesterday with Tom, who was mostly born and raised in Connecticut, but moved here about 25 years ago. And he's a big hockey guy. And he covers ASU hockey for Devils in Detail. It's a fan-sided corporate or a fan-sided affiliate website that covers Arizona State. Well, I like hockey. I love hockey. And I would like to try to I want to cover everything on Doug Franz Unplugged and let you decide if you care so you can fast forward through stuff you don't care about. What I'd like to do is have Tom give us a 10-minute interview, 10-minute report once a week on ASU hockey. You don't want it, you just fast forward right through it. But I think we can make it entertaining and get kind of the scoop on what's going on. Maybe only 5 minutes. I don't know. But just a quick conversation about it once a week. And then he'll add to the 4-minute offense by just giving us the quick report. I'm going to throw him into the 4-minute offense whenever ASU hockey has a game. In exchange, they're going to put, and this is all a little floating, so I don't want to make it sound like it's official because nobody's officially decided on how it'll work. And we're going to play it by ear, hopefully, and like move in a certain direction. But then what they're going to do on their fan-sided website is put a link to the podcast up. And then hopefully we can grow the podcast that way. And so I want it from their standpoint to obviously heavily promote us. But at the same time, it'll fill a little bit of a niche that I'm not really doing a great job filling. So hopefully you enjoy that. And I met with him yesterday, and that went really, really well. It was really enjoyable. I think that's it for me. Yeah. If you're ready, let's do it. Time for Doug's big one. It's my number one opinion of the day. Let's roll.
Doug.
Where's Doug? Here, sorry, Doug. Where are you at?
Yeah, was that a plug to unplug right there? That was smooth.
Well, I can only answer the questions that get asked of me, Doug.
Obviously, Franz is such a good player.
Doug's big one.
I got an idea. Tell me if you think it's crazy. Been thinking a lot about a tweet that was sent in. And just so you know, I don't know how many people know this. Some tweets are sent in specifically for Town Hall Tuesday. Some aren't. Now, I don't care. I use them all. Right? I mean, I do. You send it in, great. Now it's mine and I'm going to use it. But this tweet, admittedly, it bugged me. I've been thinking about it a lot. It was something that, Jennifer read for Town Hall Tuesday. And it was from @DA8man05 that said, if you advocate for Gannon and his staff after this game, you are no better than traditional media. If you want to lead us, lead the charge. Bidwell needs to hire a football operations president. Let him make the decisions. We deserve better. Well, I'm still not in favor of firing Jonathan Gannon. I have issues with him. I do. But I'm not in favor of firing him. And everybody looks at every loss and says, see, he's not any good. I look at it and say, well, wait a minute. Backup quarterback, a general manager that didn't fix the offensive line, even though there was weird things yesterday of him trying to act like the offensive line's not doing bad. Then you've got not a real pass rush other than Josh Sweat, and you've got young corners that aren't really doing great, and yet this team's in every game. That's really hard to do. So I didn't like the fact that just because this guy disagrees with me on Jonathan Gannon, it means I'm not leading the Unplugged Army. But the second part of his tweet was really interesting, that they need to hire a president of football operations and Bidwell needs to let him run the team. And I completely agree with that. Yesterday, Sean Payton, the guy that I wanted to be the head coach, but the Cardinals either didn't want to pay him or didn't do a good job in their interview process because they had Sean Payton in Arizona and courted him before he went to Denver, said that he misses Bill Belichick being in the league. And it got me thinking. Yep, you know exactly where I'm going. Today's Doug's big one, my number one opinion, is kind of soft, I admit. But it's thought-provoking, but it's soft. I think the Cardinals should look into hiring Bill Belichick as a director of football operations, as a president of football operations, whatever you want to call it. He would answer directly to Michael. He would be above Monty. Monty might not like it because, hey, he's the general manager. And you take a job like that in order to run the franchise. You want it to be your franchise. But you know what? When you lose 9 of 10 games in year 3 of your tenure, and you've got back-to-back first-round picks that have failed you, I'm not all in on you. I think Monty Ossenfort's done some other things that are good, but not enough where I'm going to jump up and down and say he's great. Now, keep in mind, with Bill Belichick, number one, it's kind of cool. Monty's actually worked under Bill twice in his career anyway. One of the downfalls of the Patriots, however, was how bad Bill was at running the draft. He was the de facto general manager, and for the last few years, They got very little out of the draft. Very little. I am not advocating Bill Belichick as head coach of the Cardinals. And he might only come with that desire. And if he does, then I don't want him. I'm not asking him to come in and coach. I like the idea because I think he would be a lot better at running the football team like he did the Patriots. He basically ran the whole franchise if he wasn't the coach, because so many other aspects of the franchise is what the problem was. They got worse and worse and worse personnel. And that's why the product slipped. Then when you don't have Tom Brady bailing you out anymore, they failed. And he lost, and he did the ridiculous thing that I still can't believe how dumb this was. When he brought Matt Patricia from defense to become the offensive coordinator. It's almost disrespectful to the game, to other coaches, to offensive coordinators to think you can do that. And Bill Belichick kept saying, well, listen, if you're a football coach, you're a football coach. Okay. But you would never have moved a lineman to play quarterback. There's just some people are who they are. And I don't want, like that, to me, that's so unforgivable that I don't want to put him back in a position where he's the head coach making those decisions. Maybe he does work, under Monty, but I want him above Monty. Like, I want clearly defined roles. And I want him in charge of all operations except the field, except game day, except the football team, the coaching staff, other than hiring the head coach, things like that. I'm kind of interested in this. I don't think he would take an advisory role, so he's got to have some kind of power. And that's why I said it's kind of a soft opinion, because there are so many holes in Bill Belichick right now. I don't want to deal with his girlfriend thing, thinking that she has anything to do with the Cardinals. Anything. You've got nothing to do with the Cardinals. You're not welcome around the facility except when other wives and relationship people are welcome around the facility. Bill's here to work. Different things like that. There would be parameters, there'd be rules, there'd be guardrails. And that's why I said my opinion soft, because I just want to look into it. I want to explore it. I want to see what Bill thinks about rigid guardrails. You are not 100% in charge. But I want to make sure he's got enough power that Michael isn't either. I mean, Michael will always be in charge, but it's clear this franchise is never going anywhere if it's just him. There's got to be somebody else that's a football guy between the coach and the general manager. Because there's just too much power with Michael. And I need somebody like a Bill Belichick to say, no, we're not doing it that way, Michael. We're not doing that. And what really interests me about this idea is it either works or Bill Belichick gets fired. And the reason why that interests me is it's kind of like the final nail in all of us knowing we're never going to get where we want to go under Michael Bidwill if he wants to act like he knows more than Bill Belichick does. What do you think? There's a lot of warts on this idea, but it could result in tremendous positives. That's why I'm really intrigued by that. Again, I don't want him to coach. You might say, this is a great idea. Fire Jonathan Gannon now. Hire Bill Belichick as coach. But don't let him be general manager. Say your only job is to coach. You have no role in personnel. Most people are afraid of Bill Belichick because they think that he'll take over everything. And he's too big of a personality. but it's almost like he's become a shell of himself since he's losing credibility with the way North Carolina struggled so mightily at the beginning of the year. They actually started playing a little better at the end. But I'm intrigued by this. Or maybe he really does work for Monty Ossenfort and he becomes the head coach. I don't know. But don't you think the Cardinals would be a better organization if Bill Belichick was a part of it? What do you think? That's Doug's big one. Get my oil changed today while I'm eating lunch, while I'm having a beer. Yeah. How great is that? The mobile unit at Santan Ford, it'll go anywhere within 25 miles of their location. 100 Mile Brewing Company, Trophy, those two great restaurants, great bars, are within 25 miles. Bell's is just barely out of that 25 miles. But I'm going to have the mobile unit come out, change the oil on my car, change the oil on my nephew's car. So boom, boom, boom. It's kind of nice that way. I really like this service. I've used it once before. It'll save you time. They'll come to your place of business. They'll come to your home. And if you don't live within 25 miles or work within 25 miles of Santan Ford, hey, anytime you're around, going to your kid's game, going to visit somebody over there on that side of town, or if you're going to Trophy or if you're going to 100 Mile Brew, you can get the mobile service for your car just by going to santanford.com, click on mobile service, and sign up. Got a lot of Cardinals to go through. Paris Johnson, Jacoby Brissett, and Calais Campbell and Jonathan Gannon all spoke to the media yesterday, among others, but these are the ones that were posted on the YouTube page of the Arizona Cardinals. And then as I was listening, there was a lot of things that kind of grabbed onto me. Some of them are just the typical stuff, but I think it sets it up for you as a fan to feel closer to the product. So let's start with Jonathan Gannon on his opening comments.
LJ Collier we will open his window today. He'll be on a practice field. Everybody else will kind of see how the week goes. Obviously, a really good football team coming in here. Tied for the best record in the NFC. Like I talked about, really well-coached team. They got really good players, and they're playing well. They control the double positive. That's why they're 9-3. We got our work cut out for us. Excited about the challenge.
That's it. It's back to winning now. You might not realize this. The Arizona Cardinals are undefeated when LJ Collier plays. So if he plays this weekend, it's guaranteed win. The guy's been hurt forever. Just absolutely forever. He missed almost all of 2022. Came to the Cardinals in 23 and went on injured reserve. Stayed for 2024 and played in all the games. And then this year, he's only played in 2 games. The team was 2-0 when he went on injured reserve, and now he's finally back. I just thought that was kind of funny to think. How much has changed since the last time LJ Collier played for the Cardinals? But I am kind of interested to see when he gets on the field what that's going to do to the pass rush with him now, Josh Sweat having somebody else alongside of him. So there's JG. I'm really monitoring how the team talks about Jonathan Gannon. So Calais Campbell was asked about JG and whether or not there are signs of decay, signs of problems for a guy that's seen a lot of positive and a lot of negative in the NFL.
Like I said this before, I think he's a phenomenal coach. I think he says all the right things. He gives us the ability to have success. He puts us in position for us to go out there and make plays. And through our whole coaching staff, I think we have, quality people who know how to put us in position to win ball games. And we're in every ball game. I think only twice this year we were really winning in the ball game, and even then we still fought and gave ourselves the best chance we could. But you want to win those ball games. But this is not a bad team. This is a team that could very much, be a 13-win, 10-win type, 10-plus win type of team. We just didn't get it done this year so far. But if we finish strong, I think that says a lot, and I think that can build that confidence where that, Mr. Bidwell, consider keeping everybody together and going for it again next year. But obviously that's way above my pay grade, and I think Mr. Bidwell is a very smart guy that loves the game and gives people a chance. But I mean, I love JG. I think he's a phenomenal coach, and I'd love to fight for him.
That's strong. He's a phenomenal coach. I love JG. Like, those aren't things that you're saying if you don't believe them. Now, at the same time, he might lose credibility because in the middle there, he said, hey, we very easily could be a 13-win team. No, you couldn't. No, you couldn't. You couldn't easily be a 13-win team because look how hard it is for you to win 4 games. Win 4 games. And then we'll talk about whether or not you can win 13. Well, you can win 9 more than that. But I love Calais. No attack on Calais. All right, tell us about the Rams, Coach.
I think it starts with really the run game. They got a good O-line, a really good scheme. They use, Sean, I think, has done a really good job of adapting this year, doing some different things that he hasn't done in the past, using his guys the right way. They got good backs. And then from there, that sets up you get Ansi to stop the run, and then he throws the ball over your head, and they score touchdowns. So we got our work cut out for us. But obviously, the quarterback's playing at a high level, elite arm talent, elite brain, with an elite play caller. That's a recipe to win a lot of games, play good offense, and that's what they're doing. So big-time challenge.
It pains me to talk about because the Rams head coach, Sean McVay, went to the school we do not speak of. But he is fantastic. And when you have a quarterback that is a brilliant processor of the game with an offensive-minded head coach who's got a brilliant process to the game, that combination is lethal. Now give them 2 stud receivers and a stud running back. I mean, it's crazy they lost to Carolina. To me, the Rams are the best team in the NFL. They're tied with the Seahawks and Bears right now for the 1 seed. Bears have it, and the Rams have it over the Seahawks. So even though the Seahawks are tied for the 1 seed, the Seahawks right now are the 5 seed because they don't win the tiebreaker with a team in their own division, so they're not a division winner, so they'd have to go on the road in the first round, which I just think is ridiculous. I've told you before, I am totally in favor of every division winner getting in the playoff, but not being guaranteed a home game. You take the 4 teams that won their division, you take the 3 best teams that didn't win their division, and then you seed them 1 through 7 from there, as opposed to seeding division winners 1 through 4 and then seeding wild cards winners 5, 6, 7 is how I would much rather do it. Now, this next one is weird. Calais was asked about the matchup with the Rams and the way Matthew Stafford is playing. And I don't know what happens here, but Calais goes on for 2 minutes. And about 30 seconds or 40 seconds of it is on the Rams. And then he just starts drifting and going different places about the team. And it's almost like a stream of consciousness that's interesting to get into.
One of the best teams in football for sure, and the offense is playing really good ball right now. Another old guy over there, and Matthew Stafford, who can sling it. He's in complete control of the offense on the field. Like he knows how to all the checks. He just maximizes the playbook. And, he makes it tough on anybody, any coordinator, anybody playing against him and stuff. So, but it's always a pleasure to play against, brilliant minds. I feel like it brings the best out of me. But he is a brilliant mind, and then they have weapons over the field. I'm a big fan of Devontae Adams. I think he's one of the most underrated players in our game. And, still to this day, he's still super elite. And you see it in the numbers and stuff. He's making plays, a lot of plays, but he's been that way his whole career, But Yeah, they got two-headed monster running back. Both those guys, little, compact, but real explosive. Gonna have to make sure I'm being real good this week, try to get some tackles. But they are very explosive. Their O-line, stout. They have everything you need. Puka's having Offensive Player of the Year, Word of the Year. As a defense, it's always a challenge for anybody they play against, But for us, I think it's a good challenge, If we go out there and can shut them down, I think you just kind of get some solace, or more of a moral victory, I guess. But if we go out there and shut them down and win a ball game, definitely will bring a lot of good energy here, And I think at this point in time, too, with such a young team, you have to finish strong to set up your future. Trying to continue to build the culture of a winning culture. So that this team can continue to have success and something to look forward to. And so these young guys, they have to keep that same mentality of process over results. The results haven't been the way we want them to go. But the process isn't bad. We're preparing the right way. We're in these ball games. And we just got to find a way to finish them. But the process over results. If we can become process driven consistently, eventually the wins are going to start tallying up.
Number one, sorry for the phone noise. That was all my fault. Jennifer texted me while I was recording it, and like, oh no, and I forgot about that. It was weird the way it started off with the Rams. Stafford's an old guy, but he knows all the checks, so it's a problem trying to rush him. Then he said Davante Adams, the most underrated player in the league, talked about him. Then he said two-headed monster at running back. Then he went to the O-line. Then he said, so shutting them down will be a challenge, but we need to start building the confidence for next year. And started talking about the culture. And it was just weird how many different places he went on just a question about the Rams offense. Number one, that shows me leadership because he's going back to what needs to be done and talking about building a winning culture. I do believe that you can pick up momentum at the end of the year. I totally believe that, but not just because you win one game. Like I 100% believe that the Cardinals are going to win their last game of the year. It's at LA, and I think the Rams are going to have their spot in the playoff wrapped up. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be a huge game for LA, and it could be, because as long as Seattle keeps winning, it could be the difference between being the 1 seed, the 2 seed, or the 5 seed. What a huge difference that is. So maybe it's going to be a big game, and then, of course, I believe that the Cardinals would lose that. But if they're fixed, if they're locked into their position going into the last game, well, then I think the Cardinals win. But they need to win like 4 games finishing the season for me to think that they have created momentum coming out of this year. All right, speaking of Davante Adams, head coach Jonathan Gannon, what's he bring to the table right now other than tearing up the Unplugged Army League for the First Lady's team ban the pooch punt because she's on a hot streak, and it has everything to do with Davante Adams.
Yeah, but you put 2 on them and they're going to run it in, so you got to live with that too. But obviously, I'm not trying to be funny, Craig. You're right. He scored more touchdowns inside the 5 than anybody, I think, this year. So obviously a really good player. They deploy him in a way that's hard to put 2 on him. And you just, with all great players, you have to have awareness of where they're located, what they like to do, their skill set as it matches your skill set, and where you need to win on certain routes, you have to win on certain routes. That's the cool thing about Davante that I see. People are buried outside, in their mind, taking away outside outbreakers, and he's winning on outbreakers. It's like, God dang, man, let's not lose on an outbreaker. An inbreaker you can live with, but an outbreaker, let's not lose on that. Great players win, and that's what he's shown over the course of his career. And now what he's doing at this year, to me, when you watch the tape, he kind of found the fountain of youth, I think, or whatever that phrase is. He looks damn good, And then you pair him with another guy that you can't cover. That's a really good route runner, contested catch, run after catch, really smart, use them all different ways. I'm juiced about the challenge. This is a good damn crew. This is a good crew.
Adams has been fire. 6 straight games with a touchdown. In those 6 straight games, he scored 11 touchdowns. You're asking a lot from this secondary. The young corners to be able to handle Nacua and Devontae Adams. I mean, I kind of have a feeling this could get ugly, depending on the Rams' attitude. As long as the Rams come in with the right attitude, focused on the game, this could be a little scary. Jacoby Brissett, your turn. What's going on 4th downs? What's the difference between the last couple games where you guys have been going for it and you're not getting it done and actually converting?
It's one, playing a little bit harder, and cleaning up a few, minor details. We got the look that we wanted for the flip play, and it just didn't strain enough. And we I think the week before, just didn't make the throw. So it's just minor little things that you in those key clutch situations that you want to be able to make.
Every time Jacoby Brissett talks, I get excited about the 2026 NFL draft. Will Monty Ossenfort correctly evaluate the quarterback position and get the quarterback of the future? Jacoby Brissett is signed for next year. He's the type of person that would be perfect to educate a young quarterback on what work ethic really means, how to watch film, and I hear stuff like that. I hear leadership. Did you pick up on that? How simple is that? What's the number one reason, the thing that you guys can do better on these critical 4th quarter, 4th downs that you're not converting?
It's one, playing a little bit harder.
I mean, finally. Yeah, play harder. That's how you do it. You play harder. I want that. To me, that's leadership when I hear something like that. They've got some really good dudes in that locker room. Listen to this from Paris Johnson. He was asked about the motivation when you're out of the playoffs now. What do you draw from when you're not going to a playoff bid? You're playing out the string of these 5 games.
I feel like right now the guys in the locker room are trying to take the same approach each week. The mentality is still to go 1-0 this week. We're obligated to still have that mentality because, I'm still competing for the guys on the line. I still got 4 of the guys that are showing up each and every day, putting their helmets on, and are going out there swinging and fighting. I'm obligated to every other guy that's going to carry the ball, that's counting on me to get our block, to do that. And to all the fans who are spending their hard-earned money to show up, to watch us, to support us, we have to put a show on regardless. You know what I mean? It's going to be the same mentality.
Boy, is that not music to the ears of fans? I have an obligation to my brothers on the offensive line and the quarterback. I have an obligation to the running backs to try to get them as many yards as they can get. And I have an obligation to the fans who spend the money to watch us play. I mean, there are times where Paris Johnson isn't good enough, right? He's not the best left tackle in football, but he's pretty darn good. I don't know if I would quite say he's an elite left tackle, but he's one of the top 10. And now he's saying he's obligated to us to make sure that he brings it? Oh, yeah. Here's another thing about Jonathan Gannon that you need to hear, in which Jacoby Brissett was asked, and it's kind of along the lines of the way what I'm hearing from Paris Johnson, is how's the accountability in the locker room right now? When are guys standing up to each other and our expectations still high within the locker room?
Oh, for sure. It's top tier. I have yet to see somebody say, damn, this person did this wrong and it effed me up. It's always like, how can I do this better? How can I do this better? You come back after Drew and he's like, anything I can do better for you after the drive? I'm like, man, we just scored. You know what I mean? Like, what? I don't know. You tell me. So stuff like that where it's like, that, and I know he honestly means it. Those are the guys you want to play for.
I'm telling you, those things mean a lot to me in my evaluation of the coaching staff. There is the quarterback saying we're accountable to each other. Somebody screws something up, they say, hey, what do I need to do to get better? Not trying to cover up the screw up or acting like, well, I wouldn't have screwed up if somebody else would have done their job. And then that part about Petzing, we just score and he still comes up to me, hey, what could I have done better? What are you seeing? And he sees accountability and he says, these are the types of guys you want to play for. It really does mean something. These players are speaking to us. It reminds me of the times that I sat in that room with Wolf 15 years, and he would talk often about how he was more prepared at any point in his career than when he played with, or he was never more prepared than when he played with the Browns under Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick had one, if I'm not mistaken, I think he had 3 years. One was not very good. One was pretty good. One was trending good and then fell apart, and he got fired. And fans hated him, wanted to run him out of town. And Wolf is saying, I was never more prepared than when I played for Bill Belichick. We just weren't very good. We didn't get it done. And I keep thinking about that as the fans want to fire Jonathan Gannon, want to fire Drew Petzing, as more and more fans are coming out against them. It's interesting to me because I keep thinking of what Wolf said. And then I'm hearing these players. And then you think about what Bill Belichick became. Please don't take that like I'm saying, don't fire Jonathan Gannon. He might become the next Bill Belichick. But I admit I kind of am. Like, I haven't seen it from him yet to believe that. And I understand why anybody would say he should be fired. He's not doing a good enough job. But I think it has so much more to do with the talent, and he's keeping it close with an extreme lack of talent. To me, that's doing a good job. I think the expectations people had on this season were unfair for their talent. And then you consider this year a failure. Well, anytime you lose 9 out of 10, that's a failure. I don't want to sugarcoat that. But if you're playing with all backups and every game except 2 are close games, doesn't that mean the coach is doing a decent job? So this is really strong. Craig Fouey, ABC 15, walking around to almost every player talking about the motivation now that you're not in the playoffs. So that was the first question to Paris Johnson. He's already answered it. And then it sounds like when I was watching it, Teo Mackey comes back, had not been part of the beginning of that media scrum. And he asks a question about where do you find your motivation at the end of the season? And listen to the power of Paris Johnson and the lack of a sense of entitlement.
I feel like the motivation is I'm starting left tackle for one of 32 teams in the NFL. And I want to be the very best, and I want to be seen as the best, you know? So I'm going to have to prepare like the best because I'm still competing. You know what I mean? I'm still doing all those things because I got Evan Brown, who is starting to bank on me that I'm going to know everything I need to know so I can do my job the way he's not worried about me. You know, I got Fro, hoping I'm going to be doing the exact same thing. So I feel like, you know, I'm playing with guys' lives out here. Jacoby, you know what I mean? Jacoby's standing and he's starting to fight back there, you know, in the pocket. That's the extra motivation for me to continue to do everything I'm doing, but to still take those steps to keep growing, to keep competing. So I feel like that's what's going to keep you going at the end of the day, you know?
Boy, do they get that pick right. Man, is that strong to hear from him. He might have a special year next year. A whole season with Jacoby Brissett, fewer holding penalties, ball getting out faster. That's good stuff. Then there is Trey McBride. This is Jacoby Brissett on Trey McBride. But I was amazed. It was a softball question. It was something like, hey, you know, what's he bringing to the table? What's it like throwing it in? I don't know. But I was like fiddling with the sound, and I'm thinking, I'm not going to play that. When the guy was asking the question, that's what I was thinking. And then I heard Jacoby Brissett talk about him. And I thought, man, if you want to be a Cardinals fan, then you got to know what's going on the inside. And when you hear a quarterback talk like this about a teammate, it shows you just how legit Trey McBride is.
I think every week I find something new, that I admire about his game and him as a person. His ability to play through a bunch of BS. I want to say, he's not getting any calls, and not that you cry for calls, and then I go back and I'm like, damn, he was even more open than I thought he was, and it's just stuff like that. And last week they're playing. The guy comes out of the huddle and he's like, man, he's running the seam, help me, like to the safety. And it just wasn't enough, you know what I mean? It's just like stuff like that. You can't even put into words and you feel it when you're in the game because it's like, yeah, Trey's just gonna make the play, and he wants it, I mean, his ability to just want the ball and to want to be successful and want to win, I mean, I remember my college coach always said, like, when you turn a film on, you want to make sure somebody can tell that you want to win, and I think that's very evident when you turn a film on and watch Trey.
Wow. My high school coach said, when somebody turns on the tape, you want them to immediately know you want to win. And I think you get that with Trey McBride. There's a lot of good stuff there. What's interesting to think about with Trey McBride, do you know that was a Steve Keim pick? It's weird to talk about because it was a draft that was both terrible and pretty good at the same time. First round came around. That was the Aiden Hutchinson, Sauce Gardner draft, by the way, in maybe 2021? 2022. The 22 draft. So Cardinals trade their first round pick for Hollywood Brown. Eesh. That doesn't go that well. And then they don't draft again until deep in the second round, but they drafted Trey McBride in the second round and pretty well crushed that pick in 2022. But then the rest of the draft, it wasn't all that thrilling. Cam Thomas, defensive end, not terrible, but not very impressive. Myjai Sanders did absolutely, I should say, he didn't do nothing, but pretty close to doing nothing. And then I'm going to cheat and look up who they got in the fifth round, if you don't mind, because I don't remember who they drafted in the fifth round. Dun-dun-dun. Or was that the year they didn't have a fifth round pick? Yeah, I think it was. Then they drafted Keontae Ingram, the USC running back. I'd like to rip that pick, but I actually like that pick. So you look at the failed first round picks of Monty Ossenfort so far. That's certainly the last first round pick was 2021 now for Steve Keim because he didn't take one. He, in a sense, drafted Hollywood Brown thinking, okay, I'm going to pair you with your college quarterback and save Kyler, and certainly that didn't even remotely come true. So the last one on Cardinals is head coach Jonathan Gannon being asked about Denzel Burke, because boy, is Burke going to get a lot of work in this game.
He's done a good job. He really has. I think, the snaps that he was kind of playing early in the year, I think he took those and learned from it. At the mini bye, I had a really good talk with him about, where he needs to go with his game, what he needs to improve. At the bye, had another talk with him. He's a ball junkie, man. He's in here a lot early, which I love. But he puts a lot of time on task into his craft, and he's played well for us, you know what I mean? I don't think he's hit his ceiling, but he's now playing a lot of reps for us, and with reps, you should become better and better.
Really a fan of Burke. Went to Brophy, went to Saguaro. Not a fan that he chose Ohio State, but how cool is it to go to high school here, then get drafted by your hometown NFL team. So I'm really rooting for them. A lot of deep dive there into Cardinals. Coming up next, going to do another look at UofA's recruiting because we have some sound from Brent Brennan. ASU going to do a press conference next week. So our deep dive into the Cardinals will be into the Sun Devils and their recruiting will be a little bit more next week. And then a story on Lane Kiffin that it's amazing what a bad person he is. That's all I can say. That's next. It's Doug Franz Unplugged, presented by Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass. It's going to be hard to keep up with this list, but from Parker & Sons Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical, we have a reverse osmosis system, a tankless water heater, and 2 air scrubbers that actually remove pollens and germs from the air that we breathe in our home. So what does Parker & Sons do? They only handle the air that we breathe and the water that we drink, and they do a great job. Call 602-2-REPAIR. That's 602 the number 2, then REPAIR for Parker & Sons.
Burrito Express started with my father about 25 years ago. He got laid off and decided that he needed to do something to provide for his family. My brother and I were older teens, 17, 18-year-old. I'm going to do a trial out of my house. So literally we decided we're going to start out of his house. So we delivered menus in a square mile area, literally started delivering burritos out of our home in Mesa, Arizona. And after about a month, he said, let's do this. Went and found his first location. And believe it or not, that's how it started. We started with one location back in 1995. Now we're where we are now.
Yes, I'm going to talk U of A, but I think if you're a college football fan, even of ASU, you're going to find some of it interesting. Then I'll get into Lane Kiffin in a minute. And I got a Doug's Little One. I don't really have production to say Doug's Little One, but I got a little opinion that I need to give you. Thanks for being a member of the Unplugged Army. Hopefully everything made sense in what I said to you yesterday about Whirlwind Plus. But here's what they've got going on this month. If you're a Whirlwind Plus member, you know the drill. You get the lowest posted price of the day for any tee time you choose. So if it's cheaper at 2 p.m, but you want to play at 9 a.m, you get the 2 o'clock price for the actual 9 o'clock time. Well, this month and this month only, every time somebody in your group brings a non-perishable food item, they get your price as well. So you might say, hey, I'm a Whirlwind Plus member, but I wish I could golf with a buddy, and I don't want to make my buddy have to pay the full price. Well, now you don't have to in December, as long as you're golfing Monday through Thursday. You golf Monday through Thursday, bring something that will be donated to the food bank with you. And I mean everybody in your foursome, your threesome, your buddy, if it's only one other buddy, whatever it is, as long as they bring a non-perishable food item, they get to play at your rate for that day. Pretty cool deal. Here is Brent Brennan walking up to the podium, talking about U of A's recruiting.
All right, thanks for everybody for being here. Obviously, this is an exciting day for Arizona football. I think the success of this recruiting effort really speaks to the momentum with our football program right now. There's been so many people that put an incredible amount of effort into putting this class together. But obviously, Geiska Crowley and Fletcher Kelly, Kamali Akina, so many people, just the logistics of recruiting that many people, hotels, restaurants, travel, I can't even explain to you what an undertaking it is. And I'm not complaining, it's just it's just doing business. But we wouldn't be in the situation we're in today without an incredible effort from everybody in our recruiting department and also an incredible effort from our coaching staff, just the consistency of phone calls, text messages, FaceTimes, guys, coming to games unofficially and just managing all that. So I'm really grateful to everybody that has put an incredible effort into this recruiting class. We feel great about it. We signed, 19 high school players, 1 junior college player. Lots of different positions, lots of different, kind of from all over the place. And we feel great about that. I think a couple things that I'm excited about, just like kind of the 2-4-7 stuff, just this is the highest ranked average per player in the history of Arizona football, which I think is a big deal. I think that's a big deal. And so we all know that we got a lot of work to do this month. We've got a bowl game to play in that we're excited about. We got practice for that coming. We're excited to figure out where that's going to be and who we're going to be getting ready to play. And then on top of that, we got to get ready for portal and retention. And so we got a lot of work to do. It's about to be the busiest 2 months in the history of our lives, which sounds just insane coming off the end of a season. But shoot, man, we are excited about where we're at right now, and we can't wait to get going on what's next.
Interesting there at the end when he talked about the busiest 2 weeks. 2 weeks. It's amazing that nobody is smart enough to figure out the college football calendar. I mean, it's clearly the definition of flawed, and nobody wants to stand up and say, you know what, this is what's best for the game. Let's do it like that. But yeah, you're UofA. You just came off of the finishing touches on recruiting. Now you've got to make sure that you recruit your own players. Every team is going through this, so they don't transfer. Then you're getting ready for your bowl game all at the same time, while you're getting ready to raid other teams. You want to make sure your kids aren't transferring January 2nd, while at the same time you're trying to go get somebody else's recruits. So one of the questions that he was asked is 50% of his draft class, or not draft class, 50% of his recruiting class is offensive linemen or defensive linemen. They really attacked linemen. And it was a good observation by somebody, and so he was asked why.
We are trying to add some girth to this football team, okay? We know, like I say that all the time, it's not sexy because I do feel great about the skill players that we added, but like you went up front. And I think that played out for us this year in terms of what our D-line was able to do and what our offensive line became. And so that's just always, number one order of business for us is doing everything we can to make sure we have great people in the offensive and defensive line.
I was reading ESPN and their rundown on recruiting. And it was interesting because it's a national article. And then it said one of the categories was quarterbacks that could start immediately. So you think about it, you're just recruiting a kid straight out of high school. Now he's on your team. They named 2 quarterbacks in the 2025 recruiting class for all teams. This is a national article. The 2 quarterbacks that they thought could be starting the soonest was Oscar Rios, who is signed with the University of Arizona, and Jake Fetty, quarterback, the number 4 dual threat quarterback out of El Paso, who signed with Arizona State. I thought that was fascinating. I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about, and who knows if ESPN does. But their rankings of the quarterbacks that are in a situation where they're the most ready, playing on a team that might be needing a quarterback immediately. Since we don't know the future of Sam Leavitt, we don't know the future of Noah Fafita, that it's those 2 guys. Well, again, we'll be asking about Jake Fetty coming up next week, but after the ASU press conference. But now we know a little bit about Oscar Rios from Brent Brennan.
When you guys meet him, you will not believe the energy this young man has. He has this smile that lights up the room. He's got this contagious personality. I can't wait for him to be here. And he was one of those players that from the first time we met him, you could tell he just had juice. Like he had crazy juice. He had juice with the guys on our team. The guys on our team liked him. It wasn't just our coaching staff. You know what I mean? He had a great way about him. Obviously, he's a great player with really, really big upside. Just great family. Comes from a family of, just incredible people. And so just so excited about Oscar choosing the University of Arizona. And I think that speaks to just how much he believed in Coach Daggy and how important Coach Daggy was in his recruitment. But it was a team effort with Oscar. I mean, everybody was on the phone with him all the time. He's got this big smile. My wife and I talked to him last night. He was all fired up for signing day. It was just really a lot of fun. And then, and also I got to tell you, so now I can tell you the story. So Coach Daggy and I went to watch him play. Okay. And they're playing Inglewood High School, and it's back and forth. And they're down 20 with 6 minutes to go in the fourth. And all of a sudden, he starts ripping passes. And they score 2 kind of quickly, and then they have this long, methodical drive. They get a stop, have this long, methodical drive going down, and the clock's winding down. And then with very little time left, he gets flushed out of the pocket, and he rips this big, deep ball, and it looks like it's going to be picked. And one of the players on his team jumps and grabs it and snatches it and scores. And so now the game is tied. It's 20-all. And they go so crazy, they get a celebration penalty, and they have to back it up and kick this PAT. It's high school, though, so you don't know how good the kickers are, right? But the guy made it, and they won. But it was amazing because Daggy and I were there to see this incredible moment of high school football.
Great story. Great follow-up by a member of the UofA media that asked, have you thought about recruiting the kicker? And very well on his toes, Coach said, well, I can't speak about him because I don't think he's a senior. In other words, yes, they did notice and they wrote it down, and they're certainly thinking about it. The Oscar Rios, he's getting a ton of pub. Jake Fetty is supposedly a lot like Sam Levitt and could easily slide right in and do Sam Levitt type of things. Now, who knows if he processes as well, but when you learn the game from somebody like Kenny Dillingham, you're going to be far and away having a leg up on everybody. In a sense, I'm done with U of A, but I'm going to play one more piece of sound from Brent Brennan. You might be asking, well, then I thought you said you're done with U of A. This is kind of an all-encompassing, interesting topic. Brent Brennan was asked about the first true recruiting class where you have direct payment from the university to a player. Because now it's set. The house settlement's over. You know what you're getting into. What was that like? What were the conversations like? How was that handled?
Now it's just much more open discussion. It's, I think the challenging part is just the disparity in it. What one's, oh, well, this is the offer from this school. And you're like, well, we don't think you're that, or we think you're this, or, so it's just this ongoing back and forth. You never know who's telling the truth except for us, so you're right. So there's a bunch of complicated stuff to that. But I do think our staff has done a great job with the evaluation and kind of the projection and how we think it all fits. And the other piece of it that you have to understand when you're doing is that you also have a big portion of this roster here that we have to have a good plan to retain. And then we also have to have a plan for how we're going to attack the portal in January. So all those pieces are kind of coming together, and unfortunately, it's not all done at once. It's done in separate points on the calendar.
As a college coach, you're not necessarily signed up for this, but this is the new reality. It's a fascinating point that Brent Brennan is kind of alluding to, although he doesn't really, dive in with both feet. Colleges now have $25 million that they can spend on players. They cannot get involved at all, or they're violating anything to do with the rules of the NCAA if they connect you to a booster. Let's say I've got money and ASU really wants a kid and they know I'm a fan. If they reach out to me and try to coordinate me being involved in the recruitment of this player with the hint that I'm going to pay him, that's now illegal. But it's not illegal for me to do it. It's just simply illegal for the school to facilitate it. So from a school standpoint, you've got this early signing period for high school. Then you've got, he said we got to have a plan for our players that we have now. basically meaning what are we going to spend on them? Then you have the transfer portal and the promises that you want to make coming up next month, January 2nd, when the transfer portal opens. Then you have another signing period with high school kids. So you've got all of that going on, all of these pieces for you to be able to try to figure out who you're going to go after. Who you're going to go after and pay that's coming in the early signing period, who you're going to pay that's already on your roster for next year. How are you going to keep them from leaving? So you got to pay them enough while you're saving enough money back to make offers to kids in the transfer portal. I mean, it's literally managing salary cap, even though there really isn't a typical salary cap. It's just you've got $25 million to spend. And it's something we've never talked about in the history of college football, but it's going to be managing salaries and managing your roster is important. And then if you can get a booster to enhance one guy's offer, now maybe you don't have to give him as much money from your coffers so you can go get somebody else. That's crazy what's going on right now. And I love that conversation point from him. And that's why I felt like those of you that maybe you hate U of A, maybe you're a huge U of A fan, as long as you like college football, that was really good information of what these guys are dealing with now. Not apologizing for it. It's just the new reality. I don't know why that was hard to say. The new reality. Sounded like a 1960s song. I do. Starting to get a little slap happy at 5:03 in the morning. Here's the Lane Kiffin thing I read. Read a big article on ESPN about Lane Kiffin, and I couldn't believe this one. I mean, I could, but it was still crazy. So staff members took an in-house poll while the flirtation was going on between Florida and LSU for Lane Kiffin. To a man, the offensive staff said, let's go to LSU. The defensive staff said, let's stay. So that's interesting unto itself. Then Lane Kiffin is basically in an argument with Ole Miss because he wants to go to these other places. His family has already been picked up in a private jet by both schools and wandered around the city of Gainesville, the city of Baton Rouge to look at different things. Lane Kiffin's either new wife or ex-wife, I can't remember which one, her dad played at Florida, so she loved Gainesville, and LSU was worried the whole time that that was going to be a deciding factor. And Lane wanted to coach the team in the college football playoff. Well, he sends out a tweet that explains how much he loves Ole Miss and how much the players wanted him to be their coach through the playoff. And what's hysterical, to show you what a snake this man is, every football player and the athletic director came out with a statement that said that was wholeheartedly untrue. That the players told Lane Kiffin to go away. They were sick of it, that he didn't stick it out with them, that he even remotely flirted with the other schools, let alone was leaving, that they absolutely didn't want him there. They told him that. The leadership council, a small group of players, told Lane Kiffin they don't want him. And Lane Kiffin actually tweeted out, the players wanted me to finish, I wanted to finish, and the administration wasn't going to let that be possible. Just a downright bold-faced lie. An amazing move by the most self-absorbed football coach in recent history. Well, then he's mad that he can't go, and that he can't coach the playoff, and he knows that Ole Miss is trying to make moves to secure his offensive staff to stay. So he tells the offensive staff, if they don't fly to LSU with him on Sunday for the press conference, then they won't have a job with him. Like, a lot of them wanted to kind of meet with meet with Ole Miss. They wanted to see what their options were. They wanted to coach in the playoff. They didn't want to just blindly go. And that's what he told them. Really let that sink in. His morals now have to become your morals, or you don't keep your job. On top of that, what if one of them had a chance to become the head coach? What if Charlie Weiss Jr. had a chance to become the head coach? And so he doesn't go on Sunday. You're gonna tell him now you're no longer wanted? What if the quarterback's coach was going to be promoted to the offensive coordinator position if he would stay? That's a big promotion. That's a big deal. You're now the offensive coordinator of an SEC school. But they're not going to name you yet. They want you to interview. They want you to maybe be the interim for the playoff series. Hey, you're going to be the OC of the playoffs, and then let's see what you do. And you've got that chance, and you want that chance. And instead of being allowed to grow and explore and find out what's best for you, just like Lane Kiffin did for himself, Lane's not going to let you do it. That's Lane Kiffin. That is 100% Lane Kiffin. Complete and utter snake in the grass. And the last thing on recruiting, this story is hilarious to me. Penn State was one of the first teams to fire their head coach. One of the reasons why you fire first is so you can hire first. They still don't have a head coach. James Franklin took the Virginia Tech job. Still had those relationships with with a lot of the players that he had recruited. He flipped 11 Penn State recruits to come to Virginia Tech. 11. And do you blame them? I mean, those kids are wondering, I have a connection to James Franklin. I know I wanted to go play for James Franklin before, but I wanted Penn State. Penn State still doesn't have a head coach. I mean, you talk about one of the biggest botch jobs in football history of firing first and hiring last. Unless they've got a secret pro coach up their sleeve that's waiting until the end of the NFL season. They've really destroyed themselves. They've basically wiped out their entire 2025 recruiting class. And who knows what they're going to be able to pull off. I mean, granted, they got plenty of money. They can go after people in the transfer portal. Boy, did they miss the boat on this. And it's funny. It's really funny to read 11 different players committed to Penn State and then flipped to James Franklin's Virginia Tech Hokies. That's funny. All right, coming up next. I don't know what's going on in versus Vegas. What is going on? It's coming up on Doug Franz Unplugged, presented by Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass.
Here is Sue Rigler on starting 100 Mile Brewing Company.
What started 100 Mile Brewing Company is I actually have a degree in microbiology from ASU. Go Devils. And went back to school. I found out that UC San Diego had a brewing program, so I enrolled in that. And with the intention of opening a brewery, I came back to Tempe because it's Sun Devil country. I wanted to open a brewery in Tempe, which fresh, it never gets old is our tagline. And I'm pretty much a stickler about fresh beer. It's got to be fresh. Otherwise, it's not going to be served here.
Hi, I'm Angie with Penny Royal Promotions. We decorate blank apparel, screen printing, embroidery, direct to film. Also, we provide promotional products, offset printing, tents, canopies, banners, business cards, anything you can put a logo on. Okay, Unplugged Army, if you own a business, you have an upcoming event, a charity function, golf tournament, we're the official provider of the Unplugged Army. Ask for Angie. I'm this year's Euchre champion.
It's time for
versus Vegas.
Yeah, did it again. No dancing. Yep. Oh my gosh. What's going on? Coming off an incredible weekend, I go 6-1 over the weekend. What do we do Monday night? We go 1-4. What do we do Tuesday night? We bounce back going 3-0. And so how do we keep that momentum strong? We go 1-3 yesterday, and it wasn't good at all. I mean, it wasn't good at all. We take Cleveland to cover the 10.5. The Cavs didn't cover because they didn't win. Portland beat them by 12. So I say Cleveland wins by double digits. God says Portland wins by double digits. Charlotte, I said they're going to lose. But we're going to take the 9.5 points. They'll keep it close with the Knicks on the back end of a back-to-back and an emotional game against Boston the night before. Knicks win, like we said they would. 119-104. We had plus 9.5, and the lead ends up being 15. Not even close. And then to finish the trifecta of the 3 NBA games we predicted, we also took Orlando minus the 7.5. And of course, Orlando didn't cover because they didn't win. San Antonio wins by 2 without Victor Wembanyama. Orlando decides, let's see if we can win without playing defense against De'Aaron Fox. We go 0-3 on the NBA docket. We get saved by my pick of Mississippi State. I felt like that was crazy that they only had to cover 2.5. They covered 12 on the road at Georgia Tech, so we nailed that one and went a paltry 1-3. So, of course, I feel like, hey, let's get it back today. And what happened today, I don't like any of the games, really. We're going to take the Cowboys in Thursday Night Football on the money line. That gives us, you ready for this, plus 140 juice. The Lions are favored by 3. But we're going to take Dallas on the money line. I think Detroit's pretty banged up. And I think there's enough weapons on the outside that's going to cause Detroit some problems. So I like that pick. There's even positive juice if you're a gambler. You can get plus 114 and be given a 1.5 with Dallas. So that's actually a much say. You lose by a point. If Detroit wins by a point, you still win at plus 114 with positive juice. So you might want to jump on that. I'm one for the gusto. Take Dallas in the upset, and I'll take the plus 140. And then really late tomorrow in hoops at the Stan Scherf Center, north of Waikiki, where I was just a week ago today. No, Thanksgiving was a week ago today. So I was there 2 weeks ago today. Hawaii is a 9.5 point favorite against UC Davis. I think Hawaii is actually going to make the tournament. I thought they were pretty good. So I'm going to take Hawaii. They got to win in double digits for me to be right. I'll take Hawaii minus the 9.5. That's really it. Cowboys and Bows. With the Bows covering, Cowboys getting no points. All right, here's all the events. Got a lot going on here. Get fired up. Please write this stuff down. Please make sure it's in your phone so you can figure out a way to represent the Unplugged Army. Burrito Express, Saturday morning. The event is from 7:30 to 9 at the Tempe Re-Grand Opening, their newest location in Tempe. They got Cam Scadaboo autographed jersey to give away, gold cards to give away to the first 50 people in line at 7 in the morning, and they have a pair of season tickets to ASU to give away. That's all going on there. I'm going to be there definitely by 11, hopefully sometime around 10:30 or so. But I'm going to be there for a couple hours, so I'd love to see you out there. Whirlwind, what they've got going on. $500 gift card to the Whirlwind online shop is probably already been pulled. It was the November prize, and they pull it in December. The December prize, 4 people are going to get 3 dozen TaylorMade TP5 golf balls. How do you do this? All you have to do is become a Whirlwind Plus member. Just by being a member, that automatically registers you to be a winner. And then coming up the big December event, they're going to have a closest to the pin contest. And 12 different people that win are going to go to Verado and play golf. 12. 3 foursomes of Whirlwind Plus members, all getting a free round of golf on a great course on the west side in Verado. That's incredible. And then the January giveaway, if you want to get yourself signed up now so you can win that, 2-night stay at Wild Horse Pass and $200 credit to Prime Steakhouse. I'll even throw in that if Lou wants to pay for me, I'll go with you. He doesn't. I just made that up. And then the big one. Here we go. The 4th annual Unplugged Army Holiday Event. We will be at Bell's Nashville Kitchen, Old Town Scottsdale on Main Street, just 50 feet east of Scottsdale Road on Main Street. Home of the Nashville Hot Chicken Sandwich. The holiday event runs from 3 o'clock until 10 o'clock. You can be there for the whole thing if you want. Stop in for a late lunch, stop in for an early dinner, stop in for a late dinner. Or if you don't have time to eat because you got a lot of things going on December 20th, well, then just stop in for a drink and meet the Unplugged Army and be a part of everything that we've got going on. I'd love to see you. It is a sanctioned event, and I want this to be the biggest one we've ever had. I think we can really dominate, take over the back half of the restaurant, and just have a great time. So please try to make it a point to get out there. Sound credits today. I got all of that Cardinals sound from the Cardinals YouTube page. Jacoby Brissett, Calais Campbell, JG, and Paris Johnson. I got the Coach Brent Brennan sound that I used from the Arizona Wildcats YouTube page. That does it for today's version of Doug Franz Unplugged, presented by Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass. Thanks to Santan Ford, 202 in Val Vista. I'm getting my oil change with the mobile unit today. I am Santan Ford. Parker & Sons, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Call 602-2-REPAIR. That's 602, the number 2, then REPAIR for Parker & Sons. And Al, I'm going to act like I'm not late. Tomorrow is a Beer Friday, thanks to 100 Mile Brewing Company, where I'm going today. And Al, you need to say hi to Angie, our newest sponsor, Penny Royal Promotions, who might be providing something special for the road show coming up at the holiday event. I'm so jacked up. Good night, Al.
Doug, thank you so much. My best to your listeners, and keep up the work on Doug Franz Unplugged.